Hello, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my second video in my little marriage series. And this video is all about the one thing that surprised me the most about marriage, the thing I didn't expect the most about marriage. As you can tell by the title, it's about babies. I've actually already done a huge rant about this on my Instagram, and if you guys are coming from there, I'm sorry, you really don't have to watch this video because you already kind of know what's going to be in this video. But if you have not watched that video, or if you're just curious to sort of see how I feel 22 weeks later, by the way, I saved it as a highlight, so it's just there. It's the face palm emoji, if you're wondering what I'm talking about. I saved it on my Instagram because it's that important. So the thing that surprised me the most about getting married had nothing to do with my husband, had nothing to do with living together, had nothing to do with our families. It had everything to do with the amount of times people, and I'm not just talking about family here, I'm talking about people, just people on the internet, people who I don't really know, family, friends, people who I've literally just met, or people who I don't really speak to very often. The same people who seem to think it's appropriate or acceptable to ask if I'm pregnant or when we're having babies, or towards the last couple of months, why have you not tried for a baby yet? I kind of think it's a little bit unbelievable that I'm sitting here and actually speaking about this, and this is why this was like the most shocking thing to me about marriage. And the thing I really didn't expect about marriage was I did not expect so many people, so many women, let's just be honest, let's put it out there, like I don't have any of my uncles or any random guys ask, it's women. So many women feel the need to ask, are you pregnant? Why aren't you pregnant? When are you gonna have a baby? When are you guys gonna have kids? Blah 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 blah. Also, what was really sad was like when I posted these stories in this rant, so many of you, I mean hundreds of you messaged me saying that you'd gone through the same thing, you experienced the same thing, and it was just really sad because that shows that it's become something that's just acceptable in our cultures and societies, and we need to say no. This is a societal norm that we are going to hand back to you, and you're going to stop being intrusive and stop invading other people's privacy by asking insensitive questions. The main reason why this frustrates me so much is because you really don't know what that person's going through, and you do not know if I have actually really wanted a child for many years, and that as soon as I got married I started trying for kids and it's not happened for me, and it's making me cry every single night in my bed and I'm feeling really depressed about it. You've got no idea. You also don't have any idea if I've got a medical condition which means that I can't have children, God forbid. Around 10% of women in the world are infertile or have very big problems in having children. It's not something that is just a given. So to just ask as if it's like a question like oh, where did you get your shoes from, you know, it's seen as casual as that, but it's not. It's so much more. And I think if I had been asked this once or twice since we got married, I maybe wouldn't have minded, but it was literally every single month from multiple various different people. And what got me the most was it was the people who I don't really know that well, or who don't really mean a lot to me, who really felt the need to have to ask. And anytime, this is the craziest thing, anytime on Instagram that I'm like, exciting announcement, I get like 5 DMs like, oh my god, you're finally pregnant. And I'm like, what? Finally pregnant? We literally just passed our 1 year anniversary, and it's just bizarre to me. So I just think it's such an insensitive question. And I was told by one of my aunties, like when I did this rant, she messaged me and she was like, you know what, Iqra, like I got married like 12 years ago, and the same thing happened to me. First people ask, when you're gonna get married, when you're gonna get married, when you're gonna get married, and then when you're married, like when you're gonna have kids, when you're gonna have kids, and then when you have a kid, it's like when you're gonna have a brother or sister for your kid. It's just part of the culture, just part of life. And although it was like comforting to know that it's not just me who's being harassed by this barrage of rude questions, and I do find it really rude, I was like, you know what? No. Like, we actually need to speak out about this, and like our generation needs to be the one that stops this and that educates the older generation, even if they're like 10 years older than us, like whoever, it doesn't matter how old they are, you need to tell people it's not acceptable to ask women why they're not pregnant yet, or when they're planning to be pregnant, because you know what, sometimes it's not in their hands. And sometimes, like in my case, having children is definitely not on the cards for me right now, because I've got so many other goals that I would like to accomplish first, namely my career goals and settling down into our own place before we can think about having a little human being. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. Islamically, like when you get married, like you should have the intention to want to further the ummah. I get it. But at the same time, there's nowhere in Islam that it says like as soon as you get married you should be trying to pop out kids. I think maybe the fact that I've done a degree in developmental and educational psychology, and I've done a lot of research and work and reading on child development, and also I've been a primary school teacher, I am a primary school teacher, and I've seen so many different families, so many different backgrounds. I just think that the moment we start to make it like a casual thing, like having kids is something casual and not to be at least half thought about, is the moment where you're just gambling with someone's life there, a little human's life that's been given to you as a gift. At the end of the day, children are a gift to us in this world, and they don't belong to us, they belong to Allah. Like, so Allah will give you the gift when Allah wants to, and Allah will take away the gift when Allah wants to. And I think we as human beings needs to be a lot more educated and smart in this matter. You need to have some sort of financial stability. You need to make sure that you are as ready as possible. And I know that like a lot of people say you can never really be ready for a child, but I feel like there's a big difference between like the feeling you feel when you first get married to the feeling that you feel 2-3 years later when you're a bit more settled into life. And then maybe having a child is kind of, you know, something you want to start thinking about. And that's not to say that couples who have a baby straight away or like within the first year of marriage, like they're doing it wrong. Absolutely not. Like every single couple is different, and this is my point, is that you have no right to ask a couple who you're not involved in that relationship. The relationship is the husband and the wife, right? The wife and the husband. You as an individual do not come into that relationship, so you have no right and no business asking them something so personal, and something that's a decision between them, and ultimately something that's a decision between Allah and them. You know, like it's up to Allah if Allah's gonna bless them with children or not. And it's not something that's like buying a pair of shoes or I don't know, like going on holiday. It's not a short-term quick decision. It's a whole human being that is your responsibility for the rest of your time here on earth. And it's such a big deal. And so the fact that people just make it so casual and talk about it as if, yeah, so like, come on, clock ticking. Or I hate this. I get, oh, you're glowing. Oh, you've put on some weight. Is there some good news? And I'm just like, I mean, a lot of times I'm just like, no, that's just my highlighter. And it's just my food, baby. And at first I felt really uncomfortable when I was approached and asked this question, and then as time's gone on, as I've spoken to more people and kind of learned how to deal with it, I just give them quite a blunt reply back. I feel like if someone is so, and I'm sorry, I know like some people watching this might have actually asked me, and maybe you had the right intentions, maybe you didn't like come at it in a rude or hostile way, and maybe you're just curious. But my thing is that you don't need to be curious. If and when Allah blesses me and my husband with a child, then I will tell whoever I need to tell whenever I'm ready. I just think the way Kylie Jenner did it was so smart. She was able to enjoy her pregnancy without any scrutinizing, without any opinions, and she just had that time to herself. And that was kind of amazing because she's like this big celebrity billionaire, you know, who's like in the media and paparazzi after all the time. So it's like, we as like regular people, why should we share like every single in and out? And so my purpose, I guess, of this video is just to say that if you were somebody who thought it was acceptable to ask, I really hope you rethink that. It's shocking to me, like people who aren't even like considered an auntie, you know, people who are not even like in their 60s and 70s, people who are younger, and I just don't think there's an excuse for it, really. That's the bottom line to me. I just think it's rude. I don't think it's acceptable. I don't think it's something we accept as a culture, like, oh, it's just something that happens. No, like next time somebody asks you a question like that, makes you feel uncomfortable, I think you need to say, it's actually quite rude to ask that question. Please don't. And if there is good news, you will know when the time comes. Thank you. And end the conversation there. Try not to be rude. I'm not a rude person naturally. I'm not a confrontational person naturally. Like, I don't like conflict. I don't like confronting people. Sometimes I don't even like standing up for myself because I'm like, I might hurt someone's feelings. But this has happened to me so many times in my first year of marriage, and honestly it was really upsetting. Like, after the first few times, I'm like, is this just my life now? Like, is this what I'm gonna have to put up with until maybe when God does bless us with a child, then what is it going to be, you know? So I think when you get these intrusive questions, it's up to you how you deal with it. But if you are about to get married, I'm just warning you now that you probably will have a barrage of those questions, so just be prepared. It sucks, but it's one of those things which I personally feel like we can change, like one woman at a time. We can put our foot down, especially if you're somebody who's been having trouble with conceiving, or you've been, you know, having a hard time with it, you've been having health issues and health conditions. Why should you be made to feel inadequate or horrible because somebody could not keep their inquisitiveness to themselves? Like, it's just not acceptable to me. I've ranted about this a lot already in my life, so I really hope I don't have to rant about it again further to this video. But next time I do get this question, I might just refer them back to this video so they know how I feel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you've got any other marriage topics that you would like me to discuss and cover, then leave them down below. Hit subscribe, hit thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Assalamu alaikum.